Hi there, it's Mr. Clark. Welcome to lesson JAZ.2.1 on three-note chords. So, we've already looked at a lot of harmonic structures, and jazz music is based on a lot of similar ones. However, it tends to add more to what we've already looked at. So, we still have our four main types of triads: augmented, major, minor, and diminished. We'll sometimes use different symbols. These are pretty much the same. And when we're talking in jazz, you're always going to see these chord symbols above the staff. When we're working with Roman numerals, those tend to go below. These chord symbols go above. We just name by the root and the quality. We'll also see these. This sus chord can stand alone, where you have a fourth instead of a third. So if you think of the root as 1, you have 1, 4, and 5. And the reason it's called a sus chord is short for suspension. When we think about classically, you might have that 4-3 suspension over your root. So it gets its name from that, even though it doesn't necessarily imply that that's going to resolve downwards anytime soon. This other one, the major flat 5, you don't see on its own, but it's a building block for larger chords that we'll look at in the next couple lessons. You might also hear it called major diminished, because you have your major third and your flat fifth, which you find in your diminished triad. Most of the time in jazz, you're going to see root position chords, whatever root position actually means, because a lot of times jazz textures aren't realized all the way. Like if you have a bass player improvising a bass line, you expect that the root's going to be somewhere in the bass line there. But it's a good rule of thumb to assume that chords are going to be in root position unless told otherwise. And the way that you're told otherwise is with slash notation, rather than using the figured bass symbols, the inversion symbols like that. Not for jazz. For jazz, you just say literally what note is in the bass. So here's a C chord, C major. Here's a C major chord with an E in the bass. C major chord with a G in the bass. And this is even a little more versatile because you can put something in the bass that's not actually in the chord. So you can have C major with an F sharp in the bass. Great. So that's what we have here for three-note voicings, and I'll see you next time for four-note chords.